Check, baby, check, baby, check. 1, 2. Good morning, everybody. Pedro and I will be with you shortly. All right, check, baby, check. 1, 2. Pedro and I will be with you shortly. Oh, that's not going. That's not. Technical difficulties. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Finally getting going here, about 20 minutes late. I'm at peace with this vast blood. Only took a crash landing down in the trash mud to figure out why I've been so smashed up. Holy moly, lonely only when I'm coldly zoning, cozy in my holy home without my homie ceremonies, owning in my own, rolling through my dome, hoping that I'm only. Good morning, Pedro and I having the technical difficulties here on Monday. Upgraded the NVIDIA driver, upgraded the software. Nothing's working right. That's what it's like being big and famous and having a massive technology budget, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let's get this show started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. It is August 25th, 2025, and you're listening to none other than Tom, otherwise known as Striking here, and Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst, over in the box next to me here. Got a good show for you today. Probably a little bit shorter one. We started late. Pedro's feeling a little under the weather, and I am developing a little bit of a pink eye here. So Pedro and I are just in good shape here today, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, the topic of the day, $1 billion, Pedro. $1 billion has been added to the debt. Here it is. There it is right there for you people watching. Debt explodes. $1 billion has been added in 47 days to the deficit, to the deficit and to the national debt. But is it good for your bags? It's Bitcoin to the rescue. Will you get rich on Bitcoin while everyone gets poor on dollars? Now, Pedro and I talk about it all the time, but I saw a good article about it, so I thought it'd be the clickbait title of the day. Anyway, Pedro, what's happening over there in the land of BTC?
Not much, just chilling. We having a good day. BTC is doing its thing. Let's check them out here real quick. Boom, boom, boom. All right, BTC. So we talked about it coming down. This week we're watching it come down first. It hit some liquidity area here right off the jump. So this was Sunday. It came down. We're now coming down into this lower area where the liquidity is sitting around that 110 area. So it's 112 to the 110 is what we talked about. I expected us to come down here into the weekend. We did see it come on Sunday. So it's interesting that we saw the bounce right up at this level here. Again, this is where we have that weekly 8, or no weekly 8. Where is it at? Or is it the 50? I guess I thought it was the 50. Boom. Either way, we came down to that 100. Yeah. Either way, it came down to the 100 period moving average, which is sitting right here. And we came down into the liquidity pool, which is sitting right here. So going to be really interesting. It did bounce before and actually hit it directly. So for me, I think it's going to go through, and we're going to be coming testing that 107 area this week. So I expect it to come down in the beginning of the week here, be testing that 107, and then potentially come back and push up. So that's what I'm expecting to see here for this final week here. And then hopefully we could see it hit all-time highs as it comes down into these levels and push it up. Now let's check out Ethereum here real quick. Ethereum is kind of being a lot stronger here, which has been really interesting to sit there and see.
Ka-ching's in the house. Welcome, Ka-ching. No sound effect for you today. System's running slow, so we're punting on the sound effects. Welcome all the way from Minnesota. Kumgar and Fire Chicken, as always, welcome.
Yes, good to have you guys. Speaking of Fire Chicken, you guys had a great weekend this week, man. You had a KOL mention you guys out there on and talking about basically that you guys have a great education system and that basically invest in the people that are replacing you. So he made a pretty cool video. I saw it was actually pretty cool. And he came in, bought around the 100,000 and all of his viewers, and they shot it all the way up to 300,000. So shout out to you guys. We'll be checking out your chart later today, but shout out to Fire Chicken. You guys are doing a great job. Keep up with the education, keep up with the TA stuff. I love what you guys are doing. Keep it up. And, you know, our hope is your success. Our hope is that you guys succeed. So let's go. And Mr. Jensen, man, doing a great job leading, man. Great job. Now let's go ahead real quick and talk about Ethereum here real quick. So we're watching Ethereum come down first thing this week. And so I always say, where can it go? And I think we could sit there and hit this lower level here. We could see kind of come down here. But again, I don't think we're going to come down here and test that. I think we're just going to come down to this lower area of that 44.71 area. And then kind of play around here and then push back up. So it's kind of what I'm expecting to see here down at this lower level. Like I said, that 44 area here. We'll see what happens. If it does come down lower, then you have that 50-period moving average sitting at that 37 area. But it's just showing so much strength that I just don't know if it's going to pull back here. This weekend, Ethereum hit new all-time highs again, tapped in, and then we saw it kind of push up. So it was really nice to sit there and see it kind of push up. Wasn't able to close above it, but you saw, man, that we had a decent amount of volume come in. We hit it, pulled back down to that 8. And so I think we're going to see an Ethereum push again this week. Hopefully we get up to that 5,500 area and then pull back again. So we'll see what happens though. But ultimately, good job on Ethereum. You guys are doing a great job. And that's about it for that.
Pedro, you really think Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to travel in different directions completely? Bitcoin going down to take out the 107s, Ethereum going up to take out the 20,000s?
Well, they're both going down for the week. How long is it going to go down? I think we'll probably see some type of, what's the word I want to use? Sorry, I'm a little slow.
Divergent?
There you go. That's the word. Divergence between the two. And then they'll come back together. We'll see it. But we're just seeing strength here kick in with Ethereum. I mean, look, this whole entire time period, we've been watching from June or July. Let's just check out July here real quick. You can see here since July 14th, we've kind of just been playing around here, as Tom says, the idiot box. And so you can see when we saw this go down here in July 27th, you can see here July 27th, we saw, here we go, July 27th, we saw Ethereum push up. Right, and then it came down, but then again it pushed back up while Bitcoin was pushing down. They went up, so you can see here that there is some form of divergence already happening here. So it's real interesting. When if I'm an investor and I'm sitting down, I'm looking at blockchains and things like that, I'm definitely looking at Ethereum as a potential way to make money because they already have a established business. They already have been proven to make money. They're already, trying to innovate and keep going. And so if I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, you're hearing people talk about this silver to gold ratio between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so it's almost this connection here between the two. And so it's real interesting to me, really, really interesting to me to sit there and see everything that's happening. And yes, I think we could see, like I said, a 1 to 5 ratio between Ethereum and Bitcoin. And that means, we could get at least a 15, 20,000 Ethereum here. So I think people understand that, and I think people expect that. It's the expectation that I think that it's really going to push this. Yeah, it's going to be, very much go. When you look at the idea of the US debt, now billion isn't nothing. I hate to say it moves literally every 2 seconds at $100,000. You can see this here, like at $100,000 every 2 or 3 seconds, which means that $1 billion, right, is kind of maybe once a day easily. When you think about that, we're literally taking on $1 trillion every quarter, right? And if we're taking $1 trillion every quarter, that means then, and it's speeding up. This is the key point behind the debt, is that it's as we gain more debt, that 5% gets tacked on even more. So it speeds up the acceleration of the debt speeds up. And so we've talked about this. I keep talking about this. We've talked about this ad nauseum. People get irritated and walk away. I can hear that, buddy. All right. That's okay. And so it's just one of those things that I'm expecting to see this. This isn't going to go away. They're talking about reevaluating the gold. And I said, if they do, it will help temporarily, but it's not going to make much of a change because I've talked about it's only about $800 billion that it's going to really make a dent if they reevaluate gold from, $42 to $3,300, mind you, that was the Fed's paper that actually wrote that. But I mean, the Fed would love for us to do that, for us to collateralize our gold so they could actually go through and swoop it up. I mean, they would love it. They could be like, oh, now this is ours. So I think it's dumb for them to do that. I think what needs to happen is the government needs to stop spending bullshit and get their stuff in order. That's it. Like, we need to
that's like saying we need to solve the mystery of why humans are on the planet, or why the existence of mankind. It's like that's the same difficulty as saying Congress stop spending money.
Yeah.
Is there a great deity in the sky? Can Congress stop spending money? Same ethereal question.
Well, I'll put it like this. I think it's really important to understand. If we do not, America has 10 years, and then they're out of a job.
Out of a job, like we're all unemployed?
The understanding of the U.S., how we understand it to be, we receive the majority of our strength because of two things. One, our dollar is the medium exchange for the rest of the world for trade. And so that gives us benefits, i.e. crude oil. Our crude oil is used whenever somebody buys and sells crude oil, they have to use U.S. dollars. We've talked about that U.S. trade, right? As we start to see tariffs kind of go, tariffs come, and we start to see trade kick up again and start seeing things really progress in trade throughout the rest of the world. They still go through and they buy USD to go through and initiate trade or trades for actual commodities. Now, if our debt gets to the point where we don't have to worry much whenever our U.S. debt goes away, right? We that's a good thing, right? As our debt goes down, it's a good thing. But as we continue to go up, our debt hits hard on the idea of the stability with the U.S. And so people will then look to other medium exchanges. Once we cannot pay our interest rate on the actual debt, we're done. And that's 10 years. And so that medium of exchange no longer is U.S. debt, but they'll find something else. We saw it with the sterling. We've seen it with many other nations around the world throughout history. And what always happens is that nation completely falls apart. I mean, the only reason why
happened to Great Britain. They were the strongest currency on the planet. They relied on getting all their money from their imperial ways and stuff like that, and as a result, they built up a lot of debt because they had all this income coming in. It didn't go so well.
So I say this because that means that they'll probably look for other medium exchanges, and they'll probably use Bitcoin. They'll use Ethereum. They're going to use something that is a commodity that is considered, and it'll probably be gold, but gold again, if we revalue gold, then it changes it. It will explode the value of gold. If we go through, because what happens is inflation is going to kick in, and all of a sudden gold goes to, it would probably be $300,000 an ounce within 3 to 5 years.
And that goes against the impossibility of that happening. Is that I believe there's no chance that could happen with a physical asset like that, because the world would come to a halt. There would be no other economy except people going out into the creeks around where they live and trying to mine gold. Just impossible.
I'm telling you, mark my words. I've said this multiple times there on this show. Mark my words.
Imagine if you could go out back.
If we do not literally go and take care of that debt and pull it back, and they reevaluate gold, which I think they will. You literally have the Fed talking about it. You have Ray Dalio talking about it. And you've even had some mention of literally Besant talk about this. These are things, these are real, it's real people are talking about this Real people are talking about this. And this is the part.
Sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done.
It's all right.
We got a small delay that's driving me nuts, so sorry.
It's all right. And so I think what's interesting is for us to sit there and say, oh, that would never happen. I mean, who would ever thought that you would sit there and say that the U.S. government would shut down the U.S. economy? You know, it's just, there's nothing. There's
True.
nothing out there that
I can see $300,000 gold if inflation does that too, and everything. It's the same essential price as it is today. You know, if inflation goes up 100x. But I can't see it. I mean, imagine what would happen to the entire country of China, India, the west of the Mississippi in the U.S.
China's already falling apart.
No, I don't mean the economy. I mean, what you're forgetting is that 1 billion people would be digging up their whole country looking for gold. There would be no green left on the planet within a couple of months. People would just rip the whole thing up looking for gold. Anyway, I gotta take a break here to read some ads here. If I can change the screen here. Not letting me change. There we go. All right, let's see if this works here. All right, everybody, time to earn a little bit of money here. Talking about football, set your clocks, mark your calendars, and buckle up for the best NFL primetime football action. Starting September 4th on Westwood One, you can catch all the bone-crushing hits, the last-second heroics, and the edge-of-your-seat action that the NFL Thursday, Sunday, and Monday nights have to offer. Whether you're tailgating, driving, or chilling at home, don't miss a single snap. Listen to the NFL app, the Westwood One Sports app, at westwoodonesports.com, or just say, Alexa, open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, there's a QR code next to me right here. Click that, go to Westwood One Sports, go to the store that, whether you're on Apple or Android, go to the right store, download their app, check out their offerings for listening to the NFL. Please use it. Let our advertisers know our audience is interactive. Also, in the comments section, there's a Learn More link. Go ahead and click that if you have to. If you're watching a smart TV, hold your phone up and click that QR code. Let our advertisers know you're interested in the NFL. Even if you're not interested in the NFL, perhaps you're interested in supporting Rumble and DYOR Live. And also, as usual, if you're watching on the replay, down in the body of the Rumble description here in the YouTube description, there will be a link to westwoodonesports.com. So thank you to Westwood One Sports for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. Alexa, cancel. Every time I do that, it launches Westwood One Sports. They probably get feedback saying, wow, every time that DYOR Live does our commercial, we get loads and hits through Odessa there. It's just because it's hearing me. I forget to put it on mute.
That's funny.
Anyway, so thanks to everyone that's watching today. Pedro and I haven't done any social media talk yet, but as always, ladies and gentlemen, our show and the success of it relies on you, the viewer. The viewer, not only just watching, but helping spread the word. So if you're a member of a trading group or a group of people that follows Bitcoin or just BS's about it, your Telegram group, your Discord group, drop a link to our show and ask your moderator, make sure it's okay. But if it's one that you can just drop links in anyway, feel free to do it. It helps us out a lot and boosts our ad revenue whenever I get to read those great ads like that and practice my 1950s variety host voice. Bright laundry detergent. And have you had Spam? The latest canned ham. Spam. I don't think our ads are that bad, but it really helps us out, ladies and gentlemen. It helps us out if you share it, get other people to come in. Remember, when you tell other people about our show, you got to remind them that we're an interactive show, and they can come in and ask questions about projects and coins, tokens, all that type of stuff, and we'll do our best to review it or educate them on whatever they want to learn about, including the debt and how we need to solve that problem. But $1 trillion, Pedro, in a little over a month and 17 days, month and a half. $1 trillion. Now, I understand that how the government spends money, and I have been a benefit of the government spending for a long time. For 27 years, I was in government contracting, and they don't spend their money the same every day. They go through bursts as money gets appropriated by Congress. Things back up for months as waiting for Congress, waiting for authority, waiting for the Office of Budgetary and this and that to do stuff. Behind the scenes, the contracting is going along, but the money doesn't get spent until like certain times. So all of a sudden, sometimes there's just, you're like, oh my God, we spent $1 trillion today? Well, it's just like, it was the day that the guy hit the button, like, all right, all these contracts are good. Or make all these payments to the military, or buy gas for an aircraft carrier, or nuclear fuel, or whatever it is. So it's not just like level, all the time. But still, $1 trillion since the big beautiful bill was passed is an enormous amount of money. It's crazy. It's crazy. I gotta verify I'm a human again. Come on, be in crypto. Let's see if I can bring my screen up here. Yeah, U.S. debt soars $1 trillion in 48 days. Interestingly enough, I pulled this ad up yesterday. It said 47 days, and the article updated itself. Yeah. Interesting. Pushing totals near 38 trillion and fueling fears of long-term fiscal instability. The surge, here's what you were getting at earlier, translates to around $21 billion today. A billion per day. So it's about $850 billion an hour. Not in total spending, just in deficit.
No, not 800 billion.
Oh, 800 million.
Yeah.
800. No, wait. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. 800 million. Yeah. Right. Per hour. It's an amazing amount of money. What is really amazing, Pedro, is that we've been able to sustain it this long. I mean, that goes to the strength of the dollar around the world. And so let's not forget that a lot of these dollars we print go to, the liquidity goes all over the world to fund the hegemony of the U.S. dollar. But it comes at our cost of deflation here, or deflating our wealth, inflating the prices of things.
Here's the thing, and I think we're not looking at this appropriately. Okay, look at this appropriately. Every 100 days, we are accruing debt at a point where it is literally unable to pay the actual interest. And with the extra $5 trillion now being appropriated to the actual economy, if they do not create real jobs that are engineering or some form of manufacturing job, it will not, and this is key, it will not do anything but add more debt to our debt bubble. It doesn't matter. It's all like jargon. It's all jargon. The U.S. debt, as this keeps continuing, and when this hit 37 trillion, we talked about this about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We talked about this. I said, guys, we now hit $37 trillion.
Right.
It's gone up like $200 billion, almost $300 billion. Like it's approaching to the point where, as we keep accruing more debt itself just speeds up.
Right. It's like a logarithmic scale here, because we're paying interest on debt. When you're paying interest on debt and on refinancing your debt at even worse rates when the rates go up, it ain't good. Pedro, on my screen, there's a chart here. U.S. government spending is currently equal to 44% of the economy, 44% of GDP.
Yep.
And by 2036, it's estimated to be. You know what? This chart is not right.
It's actually more than that.
It's going to be closer to 50% of GDP. And that, GDP right now is what, about 30? Yeah, it's about the same as our debt, about $37 trillion a year or so. And that's not right. Imagine if all we did, instead of buying food and stuff like that, we took all the money we made the whole year and just paid off our debt. But didn't buy food and didn't pay rent. Just took every dollar. Obviously that's a possibility. But the point is that's how much money we owe, and it's unsustainable. And you can see on the chart here that, I mean, during the C-19 epidemic, that's one thing. They spent trillions to try and just shut down the economy and then pay for it themselves. World War II, in which the entire country's economy came to a halt and turned into a war machine, still was only 44% of GDP. And maybe they didn't monitor and they couldn't figure it all out as they do nowadays. World War I, only 24%. 24%. When we declared war in 1917, Pedro, we had no army except like little security forces. And within a year and a half, we landed 2 million men in Europe. The expenditures for that are unbelievable. Yet it was only 24% of the economy. Now, we're at 44% just day-to-day stuff. Just taking money from this pocket, putting it in this pocket, putting it in that pocket.
It's actually more than that. It's not that is not a token. That is peer-to-peer exchange of value. What they're not talking about as well is other companies that are being paid by that actual money that actually correlates. So secondary and tertiary businesses that are developed off of that money. And so when that money pulls away, we'll see those businesses fail, and that will have secondary and third order of consequences that will kind of really hurt the economy. But here's the key. Like, China is falling apart. That, like, I've talked about this now for a while. If we can step in because they're falling apart and then start creating manufacturing jobs that we actually start to manufacture, whether it's through civilians or in military that creates, or actual industry that creates that type of industry that we can display to the rest of the world. We should not allow India or other countries to take part in that. And if we can actually capitalize on our dollar dropping, it then allows us to be able to actually create a form of real income coming in that we can replace the actual, it's probably around 55-60% of the actual economy that is done by the government, because the secondary and tertiary companies, i.e. you funded a lot of companies that worked with you when you were in the manufacturing industry. If you can switch that to privatization and actually send that off to the rest of the world instead of the US government, you could have actually exploded the GDP even more. And it's about 269% for every dollar spent towards manufacturing jobs. And so this right here, we could if we were to take this and literally make this into about 20% of GDP, which would basically be about $6 trillion. If we can create $6 trillion, this is crazy, but this is what we need to do. We need to create $6 trillion worth of industry. And as we pull away from the US government going through and paying for to keep people busy, because this has everything to do with jobs, private sector jobs versus government sector jobs. And additionally to that, if we can create more private sector jobs that are not related to the US government, and actually them selling goods and services to the rest of the world for a fair value, hence putting correct tariffs, right, which is what Trump is trying to do, then if everybody would stop playing around and say, hey, look, we can let us compete with you guys fairly, the US would dominate, because we've always been that way. We can compete, even if you are, because from a quality standpoint as well as an industry standpoint, we can always produce because we are a capitalist society. And so that mindset is what we always compete with. We've got to beat the other guy. And we've been throughout for decades, we have proven that we can do that. And so this is the key point. Like, we're talking about something which is basically, oh, wait, you know what? Like, and Tom Bilyeu talks about this because it's so important. Like, he goes, you were arguing over a guy who basically isn't going to work, isn't taking care of his house, he shits on the floor and everything like that. And you're like, you need to stop doing this. No, you need to address the real issue. This man's on heroin and needs to stop doing with the heroin. Like, if we can clean up the actual addiction problem, i.e. debt, and the US government needing debt to actual function, and actually say, hey, we need to rehab you it changes everything. But if we keep bickering literally about the two-sided or the four-prong-sided system, where it's like, hey, this guy's shitting on the ground, this guy's out there not making his bed, he's not going to work. That's second ordinary, or that's the secondary order of consequences. Deal with the real primary order of consequence, which is America needs the U.S. politicians need to stop faking numbers, need to start actually realizing that we need to be competitive around the world. And in addition to that, instead of trying to build up the U.S. debt from a fiscal bloating standpoint and say, you know what? American business can actually run because we're actually really good at it. Take away red tape and let them run.
All right, Pedro. Let's reset this same conversation we're having back to our personal wealth, you and I, and stuff like that. And the theme of the show, which was Bitcoin to the rescue. And in the discussion area of the show is this debt, strangely enough, Pedro? I'm not saying good or bad for the government or people or the long-term health of the U.S. But right now, is this debt good or bad for your bags? And the increasing debt, every time they print the money, where does that money go?
It goes into a few things. Actually, goes into a bunch of things. But the primary thing that is going into is actually day-to-day operations within the U.S. government. Those day-to-day operations has to do with, one, private industry that actually siphons off of the U.S. government debt. In addition to that, also goes into paying exorbitant amount of money going into businesses.
I think you missed the bigger picture of that. Ultimately, it goes through that machine and ends up in Wall Street. It ends up in Wall Street because the government spends money. It goes to companies. It makes payroll. Payroll increases. Goes to 401k plans. A lot of the money goes right to banks. That type of stuff. They invested in Wall Street, even just temporarily. It goes into Wall Street, goes into the economy. A lot of it doesn't just go right into nuts and bolts manufacturing and stuff. It takes a long time to get there. So a lot of it, every time they print money, turn it on, they essentially give the banks more lending room too. So they lend, they re-hypothecate things a million times, and all that does is create a much larger bubble in Wall Street, which, because as you've been talking about for a long time, industry and institutions are now fully into crypto, and Bitcoin essentially, and the general crypto market, total market cap, goes in stride with the economy, and which with Wall Street's doing. Big sell-off in Wall Street, generally big sell-off in crypto now. It's not, and so your bags are pumping because the stock markets are at all-time highs. Like this debt this debt should be causing our stock market to be, pummeling. Just been like everyone's like, doom, we have this debt, just like your household income or the way you operate your house. If you have this massive crushing debt, the rest of your life sucks because you've got to pull open your pockets and pay the debt off. Yet all this debt, Pedro, ultimately is owed by you and me and everyone else watching this stream. If the U.S. government defaults on it, and the debt, especially, the debt they owe each other, the Treasury owes the Fed is one thing, but the debt they owe any organization or government, that has to be, the credit of the United States government is guaranteed by the United States government. Who's the United States? We are. Ultimately, we would have to pay, and it's not outlandish to think that a foreign court or even the United States court at some point would say, well, the U.S. couldn't pay that $1 trillion, so everyone's got to write a check for $3,642.
No, it's like $323,000.
Oh, damn it!
It's It's
no, I was thinking like 1 trillion or a bond offering. But anyway, so on that note, the bond offerings have been not going well. We've had to pay over 5% now on short-term bond offerings, which is bad news because the debt costs more. Wall Street's still effing going up of it. We have a downturn. Oh, Wall Street dropped, big crash. it's still within 99% of its all, or 1% of its all-time high. When you look at the whole chart, didn't drop 50%, didn't drop not 70%, where it should have under conditions like this. It's just the money printer is, for some reason, is still propping up the economy and the Wall Street economy, which is propping up your Bitcoin bags. It may not be propping up your near protocol and all the altcoins and all that type of stuff, but your general crypto bags, we're still near the highs. Even you're talking about BTC going down to 107. People are like, oh my God, big pullback. Are you kidding me? It was at 10 cents 15 years ago. I mean, it's like, oh, it went from 100% of its value to 99% of its value. Oh my God, the world has ended. So I strangely enough, in the short term, all of this debt is good for your bags. And it shouldn't be like that. The U.S. debt, it should incentivize the United States Congress, the Senate, the president to pay the debt off to make our country better. Hasn't happened since the Clinton administration in the 90s. And that was because we reduced the military budget by half with BRAC and all the military base closures, and got rid of welfare and a bunch of other safety net projects, if you can believe that the Democrats did that, which is amazing. But in the short term for all of us, these markets, I mean, the money people are making trading NASDAQ is crazy. And I realize that there's nuances to that, but some people are just making fortunes doing it. And the overall NASDAQ market is creating millionaires, billionaires, all this type of stuff. Obviously on paper, not a lot of cash at this point. But it's mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling to me that the debt could be at this bone-crushing level, and the Wall Street is still at its highs. It shouldn't be like that, but it is. And so my opinion on my own comment or my own clickbait headline of the day is: the debt good for your bags? It is, and it shouldn't be. It's not right. It's not right. The debt should make everything worse. And the fact that congressmen are getting rich, they're seeing the value of the companies that they trade stocks in go up through the roof. They see the federal government sending them more money in contracts, so they're doing all that. So even Congress, the people charged to oversee this whole thing, are sitting there going, well, all this money printing is good. See, I just got a new boat. I got another house in the Caribbean. Or what was that one senator, wherever his extra house was that he got from trading stocks? It just isn't right. It's not right. It flummoxes me to no end. But the overall point is that for the time being, the money printing is good for our crypto bags, and it's certainly good for 401ks and stuff when pushing the market. And I use that, since we talk crypto and digital assets so much, I focus on that. But it's essentially, anyone with a 401k or a big work, what's the government, the 403c funds, and Roth IRAs, all those types of things. They're all booming. And that's why you can't get Congress to do anything. I shouldn't say that's why. I should say that's one of the reasons why. They're like, why? Well, there's $37 trillion in debt, but everyone's rich and happy and all that. I shouldn't say everyone. I should say all the people that can't donate to their campaigns.
Like I said, it needs to be to a point where the government or the civil servants of this great country should be at a pay of where literally middle-class Americans are at. They should not be allowed to trade stocks. If you go into civil service and you cannot actually connect your family's business to an actual industry. And this frustrates me about Trump. I am pro crypto, but the reality is that when it comes down to treasuries, right, they know the way they established the Genius Act and the Stablecoin Act, that literally is stated that if you're going to have one of these, and we've talked about this, I said, because of the debt and the inability of people to actually buy, wanting to buy U.S. bonds, it will literally go onto the crypto industry. And as crypto industry, if we keep printing, okay, our debt goes up. But because you have an adjacent industry that is not really a part of it, and again, it's still not part of it, even though it correlates to it, because investors, it is not part of it, because literally there's a finite system within crypto. And so these companies that are now stablecoin providers, i.e., it's crazy to even sit there and say, and we talked about this too, like 2 years ago, seeing big companies like Walmart, Amazon, Target creating their own stable coins. And I said, I could see the US government wanting to step in, and we need somebody to go through and pull this old stuff out, because I need to sit there and, one, it looks good for our show, but two, this brings validity to what I'm saying here. What's going to happen next is that US bonds will be bought by crypto. Crypto providers will then become entrenched, which should not be within the US debt. Hence, i.e., they're going to collateralize US stablecoin debt. They will take that treasury and they will collateralize it. And then large corporate entities are going to become banks. Because just like we saw with banks right now, by collateralizing debt, this is going to happen with large corporate entities, and then hence destroying the collateral or the stablecoin industry. But here's the thing: people will buy what? People are going to buy U.S. debt as we start to see this. The problem is at one point, does that bubble end?
Wait a minute. It sounds like you're saying that the same debt's going to be on the market twice. That the U.S. government sells the bond, and then that debt is collateralized and resold as debt. So that
government sells bonds. Okay, it goes, and who has to buy those bonds to back up their stable coins? Large corporate entities,
right? Or
crypto providers, USDT, USDC. Now, what would be smart is for them to actually buy a bundle of some bonds, gold, silver, stocks, right? Like that is what needs to happen, right? Like, and there needs to be a smart allocation. But the problem is that people will want to buy, just like what we saw with 2008. Right, 2008 was basically, it was grade A, amazing bonds that they collateralized, and then you had side bets on them. You had secondary, tertiary derivatives. Thank you. That's the word I'm going to use. Secondary and tertiary derivatives that would bet, and it got to the point where it was 100 to 1, 1,000 to 1, 10,000, 1,000,000 to 1. Well, literally, when we saw these little movements, it was huge movements within industry. And that in itself, again, is what we saw 2008 happen, right? In addition to that, we really were not growing. It was more or less paper money that was expelling the government, exploding the U.S. government because of that paper money. That is what's going to happen again. And it's going to be a bubble on a bubble. We're already in a bubble. We're already in a debt bubble, an everything debt bubble. Okay, U.S. bonds, school student loans, cars, like that's, it's just.
Pedro's worked up today, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Monday doom and gloom. He's got a case of the Mondays, but you know what he doesn't have a case of? Making money on ads. Ladies and gentlemen, the sports theme continues. The countdown is over, the rivalries are real, and the road to the championship begins on August 23rd. Westwood One Sports bring you every electrifying moment of NCAA football. From the first snap to the final whistle, top teams, big plays, unforgettable Saturdays. Don't miss a second of the action. Listen to NCAA football on rumble.com, the Westwood One Sports app, on westwoodonesports.com via Westwood One Sports station streams, or by asking Alexa to open up the Westwood One Sports app. If it's sports, it's on Westwood One. As always, ladies and gentlemen, Westwood One Sports is so good to put this QR code up here for you. So if you're watching on a big screen TV, hold your cell phone up, your telephone, whatever it is, the Panafax machine you use, click it, go visit their site, see what they have to offer. They're not even asking you for their money. They're just saying download our app and listen to the sports games, the NFL games that you want to. Also, in the comment section, there's a learn more. You can go ahead and click that. And if you're watching this on the replay, down in the body down here, there'll also be a link to this. I think on the replay, Pedro, I don't think the QR code is there. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, down in the body there, for sure, there'll be a link to Westwood One Sports. And thank you to Westwood One Sports for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. That was $1.32, Pedro.
There we go. We're moving on up. All right, let's jump back here.
Moving on up to the east side in a deluxe apartment in the sky.
I appreciate everybody watching us.
Sorry.
All right, guys. It's all right. So I think what's interesting, and we need to really look at this, right? Like, I keep talking about the U.S. government and how things work, right? We talk about from a TA standpoint, how things are actually playing out right now. And I keep talking about this. We are seeing a decrease in volume with the S&P 500. We're literally seeing it drop, right? It's dropping. Even though people are putting money into the market, people are putting things into it because they have to stay in front of inflation. We're seeing volume drop off. And I think it's important to understand as you look at this market, okay, it can't keep going on forever. At one point in time, the world is going to sit there and say, we don't trust you, America. Now, granted, let's just throw this out. Let's say the CCP falls. Let's say the CCP falls. Not China, the CCP falls. Or let's just say a restructuring of the CCP and the heavy-handedness of Xi goes away. Okay, and what we saw in the late 2000s, right, of them really wanting to kind of take part in what is happening in America, right, with a idea of real prosperity, right? Like right now, she has kind of done some things, and they're not helping him out. Like his actions and his tyrannical movement is not helping him out anymore. Right, but he's still got a ton of money in AI. He's got a ton of money, and he's got a lockstep authoritarian hand over China. But sooner or later, we all know, sooner or later, you overtalk, and all of a sudden, people come in and kind of remove you. Right? Let's say that happens. China goes through a restructuring, takes 3 to 4 years. Then all of a sudden, they start to take on more policies of a capitalist society, and they literally sit there and start. The intention of NAFTA was to bring China into the global trade from a capitalist mindset, and hopefully to stay away from communism and the idea of communism. That was the whole entire point, right? It backfired on us.
And to provide a market for the U.S. to sell its goods to. Whoops.
Absolutely.
Didn't work out so well.
Yes, absolutely. Now, here's the key. It started, but then back in 2018, 19, we started seeing heavy-handedness from Xi. Then from there, back in 2019 into 2020, he came in heavy and said, okay, enough's enough. We're going to go back to a Mao theology on the way we run China. And he came heavy on the Uyghurs and heavy on the fundamental Christians, right? And I said
they came
Uyghurs.
Heavy on Eminem?
You know.
Uyghurs.
That's what I said. Uyghurs. Sorry. A Uyghur. I said Uyghurs. He came heavy on Uyghurs. He got heavy-handed on yeah. Got
your mom's spaghetti on your sweater.
Already. All right. That was good. It brought some levity to my statement. But what I'm saying, though, is this. If China restructures...
Full case of the Mondays going on here.
I love us so much. All right. So here's the thing. They restructure. We see things kind of play out. A communist China is nothing compared to a capitalist China. We would see a change and shift in policy so quick around the world that China would be easily become, and all of a sudden U.S. debt. This could happen within 10 years because we're already seeing everything fall apart with Evergrande, the real estate bust, the U.S. or not the U.S. bond, but Chinese bonds are not even helping. The bazooka initiative basically is falling in on itself. And the stuff you want to pay attention to here is that, like, they're not looking good. And the people in China aren't fully happy with the economy. Them not, their actual wealth is falling apart. And I've talked about how, like, this is being manipulated. We'll talk about this on tomorrow for Technical Tuesday. But the key point is that we're watching their stock market. Where is it? Right here, PGJ. Right, it's shooting up. And I said, this is manipulation. This is not them. Just like they manipulated their dollar, they're manipulating their U.S. stock market or their stock market. And so I expected it to come down. It did not. And so as you look into it, everything's falling apart there. This is manipulation. But if they can restructure things, this changes everything. And all of a sudden now the world actually has another America that can actually come through. And again, it ain't going to happen overnight, but if things fall apart within the next 3 to 4 years, and then they restructure it, and America keeps going on with its debt, best believe they're going to be the new upstart because they've got the middle class, they've got the people to be able to kick in. Now, this all predicated on is if their 1.3 billion people are actually real. If they actually have those amount of people that can actually produce, you best believe, dude, you'll see a change in this. But it's all predicated on if she can. But it's looking bad for them. It's looking really bad for them.
It's not looking good because they hide things. They hide debt, money, more than the U.S. government does. And in fact, while the U.S. government massages the numbers to no end, they at least publish them. And they publish just about every stat you can think of.
Bro,
in China, they've been restricted. They used to publish a bunch of things. When they were growing like crazy, they're like, look how everything is great. And now, you go to the official bureau site in China, and they publish like total land area of China is growing because we keep making islands off the South Pacific. And they don't publish all the key economic indicators anymore because they're not good. They're just not good at all about that.
So
anyway, go ahead.
So I think on the back end, when you look at this whole entire number here, anybody, like if I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, I would sit there and say Bitcoin has the ability to most likely take over as an actual exchange of value for the rest of the world. I don't think it's going to be gold because gold, again, at any point in time, if we really start to mine asteroids, which is a very big plausibility with robotics increasing at its speed, with what's actually happening with Elon Musk and what he's doing literally with a lot of the rockets that he's sending up. But then 5 to 10 years, this very much could be where we spot an actual asteroid that we want to go to. We're going to mine it and bring back gold. It's plausible. It's very plausible. So then what would be the actual exchange of value? It would be Bitcoin. It just makes sense. And I know this sounds crazy, but that's if America keeps going with the way it's going, we will have literally no other option except for the world will have no other option except for that, unless America becomes. Go ahead.
I gotta interrupt you 1 second. Kaching, you've just posted the word echo. Are we talking in an echo chamber? Like,
it's gone now. No. He's talking about it's gone now, meaning echo, meaning I was echoing.
He's probably Pedro. I'm guessing Kaching is a little bit behind because before I was accidentally listening to our stream.
Oh, okay. I got it. So let's talk about here real quick how Bitcoin, and honestly, so the way I'm seeing, I have a lot of friends of mine that are in like the degen area, right? And so as we start to see, and I've been paying attention to this, the NQ and its movements, right? When we see the NQ and we start to see it kind of consolidate for that day, and really we watch actual Bitcoin do the same thing, which I think is really interesting, is that like this is a smaller day comparative to normal Bitcoin movements, right? And so when we watch the NQ move in that manner, this is actually a good way. So if you're a degen, right, and you're trying to see if we're having a slow day or something like that, watch and pay attention to the NQ or the NASDAQ. If it's starting to have an explosive day, or if we break out of a range, correlate that, saying, you know what, like if we're in a range, most likely we're going to see coins kind of go within a range, and we'll see less money coming in and out. And so I've been paying attention to that, and it was one of the things I was like, it correlates too much. I've gone back this weekend and I was looking at certain things, and so I mean, over the guys over at DEF CON, shout out to you guys, DEF CON 7, really been trying to pay attention to what's actually happening there. Ghost, what's up? And honestly, it's crazy to think, but we might actually have a correlation there. So if we see a breakout of the NASDAQ, and we see a breakout, we should see a breakout of Bitcoin, and then hence causing the trenches to really see big movements. So kind of pay attention to that for you guys out there by looking at the markets.
How is the NASDAQ doing today?
It's kind of an inside day today. So it's not really moving.
Yeah, we
much.
got Forex factories telling us that there's unemployment this week. Seems like there's unemployment every week. There's PCI. There's job numbers. There's PPI, CPI. There's primary, and we probably should go over this stuff here real quick. So this week we have a few things that we want to pay attention to, economic indicate or economic reports that are coming out. Let's check them out here real quick. Probably should have done this in the beginning. Holiday Tuesday. So U.S. New home sales just came out. Looks like they were good by over 200 or by 20,000 ish pricing. So it's pretty good. You can see actual forecast previous month. The forecast was going to be 335. It jumped up to, again, we always talk about housing, the actual buying of housing, and the shenanigans going on there with actual loan creation. The having literally, like, anyways, we'll talk about it. We've talked about this, but I don't want to go there. But here, new homes. Then we actually have a consumer confidence report. Basically, people, if they really have confidence in the economy and what's actually happening. Wednesday, we have crude oil. Yeah, that's every week. Thursday, you have GDP. It's movement, the growth, initial jobless claims. And then Friday. Core PCE or price index for core PCE. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the PCE number, well, like when it's released, doesn't really move the market a lot, but it really affects the whole week for some reason. I don't understand why. Everyone freaks out about it, but then it never really affects the market that much. They're like, makes the whole week all jacked up. And
hey. All right, my friend. We're going to have to get on out of here, my peoples. It's sad to see you guys go, but I've got other things, and I'm not feeling too good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation that we had. The 23 and 24 people that were watching us consistently, actually.
Yeah, we had a good crowd today. Good crowd, good conversation.
Really appreciate you guys. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything that we talked about, or if you want to just call me an idiot because I don't know what I'm talking about, please feel free. You're more than welcome. I don't get upset. I'm all about exchange of value as well as criticism, especially with what I see. I don't like living in an echo chamber, and so I appreciate it when you guys do call me out and say, dude, you forgot this statistic, or you didn't really think about this.
Pedro, we're calling you out. He definitely didn't have enough to say today.
I feel like I just ran to
Crypto Mike says, dude, takes 2 seconds. Click on it X on chat. Click the thumbs up, then click live chat, and then click back. Easy as pie.
I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you guys. If Pedro, if you drop off now, that's fine. Couple of programming notes. I'm going to stay on for like probably 4 more minutes or so because we've got an ad read coming up. I can see the countdown, and I want to get my credits in that. And two, I'm probably Mrs. Striking's got some things to do and I don't have my usual list of things to do for her business here this afternoon. So I'm probably going to try and get an hour live of a Rumble Premium thing, just talking about the news and stuff like that, because we've got 4 hours left to do it, and the way we're going, we're going to have to do another 4-hour marathon thing, which breaks my heart and brain for 2 days. So probably going to get an hour of that done this afternoon. So for those of you that are subscribed to Rumble Premium, keep an eye out for that and join me in talking about news of the day and other topics about things coming up. Pedro, I've also been working on the TradeWave app. Getting close to a new beta or a new alpha release of that. Switch things up. Got the user security taken care of. So can't just fuck everything up. I've got the integration to the Google spreadsheets taken care of. So when we update it, it becomes live data, that type of stuff. And so just getting ready to hopefully this week sometime have something to send out to a couple core group of people to test.
Okay, that'd be good.
And that's probably why my eye is actually bloodshot. It's not pink eye. It's probably because I'm sitting here staring at the screen until late at night. Click, 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 click. JSON, construct. Oh.
Yes.
Lovely.
Thank you. Appreciate that hard work.
All right, where are we with these ads? Oh, only 3 minutes and 20 seconds left, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, like I said, Pedro, if you got to run, please do it, or you can hang out until the ad read comes. I don't care.
I'm actually going to head out, but it's a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Pedro, thanks a lot. We will see you tomorrow at the same bat station, same bat time. Once again, on this programming note, as I said, we'll be around probably, I'll say at 2 o'clock, probably do a 1 hour Rumble Premium. Tomorrow, we will be doing our normal show at the normal time. And I think on Friday, we're going to be doing an early show because I have to, once again, drive to Toronto this weekend. And we need to leave during the show time in order to get to an event in time. So that's likely going to be the... I know all of you are waiting, like, oh, I can't wait to hear the show schedule, Tom. Woo! Anyway, while we're waiting for the ad thing to reset here, let's check in. Let's check in with Bitcoin here. Moving back up. Earlier when we started the show, it was down at in the low 112s. Moving back up, it's staying above this 200 period moving average here. Oh, I didn't go to the charts. Bring up the trading view. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but when you turn on the YouTube feed for our show, TradingView is the advertiser. Interesting. Anyway, this is a 5-minute chart here, and let's go to the 1-minute chart real quick here because I wanted to show you something. One of the models that I trade is what I call the 221 setup, and this is a good example of it here, where price action comes up, comes through the 200 period moving average and drags along with it. You can't really see it that well here. Let's see if I can make it bigger. And drags along with it the 8 period moving average, this purple line here. And then the 20 period comes up. And the 8 period is like, it's like, all right, price action's above the 200 period moving average. it's the 8 period is holding it along as it goes up, and you're like, all right, that's good. But the 8 period can move pretty quickly. So I want to see a confirmation that it's going to keep going up, and that's this 21, this orange thing here, this orange moving average, and that's going up with it as well. In the past couple of weeks, when there's this chop, and as Pedro loves to say, Tom's idiot box, this model doesn't work that great. And because it continually crosses the 200 period and doesn't really set the tone for the trade at all. Because it just keeps doing the same thing. But what you see happens here is that this trade actually would have paid off had I taken it. I didn't because I was worried about it today being a false move Monday. But the price action stayed up and above the moving average. The 200 period moving average. Only with this one little dip here just about an hour before the show. And then has proceeded to... Well, that's funny because while I've been talking about this, the price is coming down. But the price action was, it crossed it at 11,400, and now the price is $1,000 higher. It's up to $1,500 higher. So that's one of the trade setups that I do that has a high probability of winning. Basically, you're waiting for the market to go up and show at least 2 confirmations of it going up. I call them confirmations. I don't know what Pedro will call them. But 2 other indicators saying that the market is going to go up. You know what else is going to go up? Our ad revenue right now. Well, of course, I had the official Trump coin thing up there instead of Bitcoin. That's funny. Anyway, we're going to do... let's look for an expensive one here. I've already read all the sports ones. All right, which one should I do here? I'm going to do Join Entropia. Is anyone up for a challenge? Challenge. You know, the challenge of earning some real money in a real cash economy. So look, most of the world today is designed to be safe, to be easy, to give you a cheap dopamine hit without any real effort or risk. But where's the challenge in that? Where's the real reward? If you're looking for an arena with real stakes, you need to know about Entropia Universe. This isn't just another game. It's a massive multiplayer online universe with a real cash economy. That means every single item from the ammo you use to the armor you craft has a tangible value tied directly to the US dollar. This is the digital frontier. It's a true free market where you can hunt creatures, mine for resources, and manufacture goods, then sell them to other players for cash that you can withdraw right to your bank account. It's a grind. It's high risk, but the rewards are real. We're talking about players hitting jackpots worth thousands of dollars from a single loot drop. This isn't for the faint of heart. This is for the hustlers, the entrepreneurs, the people willing to bet on themselves and build a digital enterprise. If you think you have what it takes to compete in an economy with real consequences, prove it. Go to joinentropia.com and start your journey. That's www.joinentropia.com. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, there's a QR code right here. If you're watching on your smart TV, hold your phone up to it, press click, go visit their site, see what it is. If you're a gamer, it's really, I didn't know much about this, but it's an amazing multiplayer game. I love those. I love them so much. It's so interesting, and to have it linked to a real cash economy is amazing. Also, in the comment section, there's a Learn More link. Go ahead and click that Learn More link. Click it from your cell phone. Just boop. Go learn more about this. And also, if you're watching on the replay, you can I'm not sure if the QR code's in the replay or not, but definitely in the body of this description, there will be a link to joinentropia.com. So thank you to Entropia.com and the Entropia Universe for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. Oh, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Any last comments? Check Fire Chicken Dude, Mike says. All right, let's go check Fire Chicken. Let's check the chicken out. I forgot some good sound effects for that, but oh, you know what Pedro and I didn't talk about today was Yeezy. Yeezy ran off with the money. Fire chicken. Eat more chicken. All right, let's see. Fire chicken. This is the Solana pool on Radium. Coming in at, we'll just call it at 20 cents. It's not 20 cents, but it's 0.20. Let's see what the market cap is. Market cap coming in at 200,000 on the market cap for Fire Chicken. As you can see, got up to 300 here. Let me make sure I got that. Let's get the name up here. Fire Chicken. FCKN. Chicken. Eat more chicken. Let's bring the pricing module up. Fire Chicken. You guys got to get listed on CoinGecko so I can bring up the stats automatically from the API. Anyway, as you can see here from the chart, got up to essentially 300,000, which is amazing. From the start of this whole thing was way back here. Way back here. I guess it hit a low. This is after bonding. $17,000 market cap. 10x. We're at a 10x from there. Looking good. Fire Chicken. We touched 295. Needed that correction for sure. Everybody's always sad when a token pumps and then pulls back, but always the pullback is good. Good. It creates a market. If it's only up all the time, the resulting downside will be just horrific. And of course, generating volume by people selling is also a good thing. Volume counts. Markets that are more liquid, as we all know, are better. Fire Chicken, ladies and gentlemen. Eat more chicken. I love it. Let's finish up with the BTC again. Why does that say avalanche? There we go. Bitcoin, 1,012, 552. I'm staying out of the market today. I haven't traded at all. I traded last night. Made a colossal error. I had a really good trade. Doubled my account. Now, I paid a whole bunch of bills, so my account is very small. So I doubled my account in a very good trade yesterday when Bitcoin tanked. Saw the short coming, saw it rolling over. It's always a good time to put in a short, tight stop in it. You don't have to take much risk in it, because when it's rolling over, you're almost guaranteed the next candle is going to be down. You can quickly move your stop into to break even, and have a no-risk trade. And it obviously doesn't work every time, but it works very frequently when you see Bitcoin starting to go. And sure enough, it went down and added 50% to my account. And I wasn't even drinking last night. I wasn't even drinking. Had nothing. I've been dry for a couple of days here, working on the waistline. And then I said, oh, the market's still doing what I think it should do. And the rule is, once you make your bag, once you make your goal in a successful trade, you're welcome, Crypto Mike. Once you make a successful trade, pack it in for the night. Pack it in. Make 50% in a day. You pack it in. You're like done. You don't keep trading. I gave most of it back in 2 lousy trades. And both of them were good quality setups. Both of them were like, one of them was this 200 period, 21 period one that I was telling, 200 period moving average. with a 21, and I can't even talk. And the 21 moving average cost us the 20. And price action's already above it. That one. I need a better name for it. It failed. Failed right away, and I wasn't paying attention. Didn't put my stop close enough. And I said, oh, it's going to turn around. It's going to do it. And of course, it made a couple of more ticks down. And I was like, stupid. And then there was another trade, price going up. I was like, it's going up. It was the classic mistake of when your chart you're looking at, you forget to look at the larger time frame charts. Before you press that buy button, look at the larger time frames. Because on my chart, this chart, it was going up. Like higher lows, higher highs. Boom, moving averages starting to go that way. All good stuff. You're like, I'm in. This is going to win. I am going to win this trade. It's going to... Immediately goes down, lose trade, stopped out, gave the money back. I was like, what? Then you zoom out. Zoom out, not one but two time frames. You just see you're in a big downtrend. And that was just a little leg up in one of the parts of the downtrend. Dumb, gave it back. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for you today. Like I said, in about, actually probably at 2:30. 2:30, I need a break and I need to do some graphics. I'm gonna do a Rumble Premium thing, get an hour of Rumble Premium in to satisfy our requirements there, and up our status over there on Rumble Premium. Crypto Mike says, later peoples. I don't have Pedro here to help me with the go out here, so I'm gonna change the music. I'm gonna rock it here. No, I'm not. Okay, let's rock it a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen! Chuck, we got enough commentators. We did. We can always use more, be more credibility, but we're good for that. Listening to Tree City West, all gassed up here. Pedro referred to earlier as not the Uyghurs, but the Wiggers. Wes is a white guy and he's a good rapper. Whoop, whoop, whoop. We got a lot of these. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, if you are a Rumble Premium member, come join us later in the Rumble Premium. Stick around. What we're going to talk about is news, other fun stuff. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Other fun stuff. Talk more about TradeWave, what's coming down the line with our trading app. Crypto Mike, I've previously sent you an alpha version. Just delete that. I'm not even using that one anymore. Move to a whole nother system. Got that. That'll be coming out soon. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you today on DYOR Live. Be ready for DYOR Premium later, so be there.
Taking a second to look into everything I can spirit beneath all the hate and the good in the way that they want to just make me believe in anything they can conceive. Keep it inside, I break with the flow. Give me your ride, I'll open the door. When we arrive, I'll look at my soul. Nothing to see, nothing to know. Don't you know me, homie? I'll be on these lonely roads, riding with my don't be open, hoping someone sees me choking. Pulling the cover up over my eyes, starting nothing to restore my sight. Put an emotion, can't keep it inside. Freaking a beat, believe it's my mind. Wondering how other words in my head will be coming right back to the start of the beat. People been leaving their evil open, hoping that God will see them free. Learn to sail your inner ocean, hearts swollen, souls frozen. Potion got me open, I can feel the bad omen. Lost in this moment.
I can feel the bad omen. That's all we got for you today, ladies and gentlemen.